Charli XCX's career in the industry started over 15 years ago and she has achieved a lot since then. So here are the highs, the lows and the evolution of Charli XCX. So Charli began writing songs at 14 and she began posting them online in 2008, and in 2010 she signed with Asylum Records record label. In 2012 she featured on Icona Pop's single I Love It, which actually ended up charting at #1 on the UK singles chart. Then she released her first commercial album in 2013. It was called True Romance and critics loved it, but it failed to get the commercial success that her label had hoped for. And then we have 2014, so Charli was just 22 and this was a huge year for her career. She featured on Iggy Azalea's song Fancy, which would become one of the year's biggest songs, released her song Boom Clap, which would become one of her biggest songs, and released her second studio album Sucker. And then at 23 she released her Vroom Vroom EP, which was a massive experiment at the time. Although it didn't achieve immediate recognition, the song Vroom Vroom is now seen by her fans as one of her most iconic, and she actually worked with SOPHIE on it, who she would then go on to work with a lot in her career.
I think it's been really great. I think that they've killed it, to be honest.
2016 was also when it was announced that A.G. Cook would become her creative director, and 1 year later in 2017 she released the song Boys, and the music video for that featured every single it guy at the time.
I was busy thinking about boys.
In 2018 she opened for Taylor Swift on her Reputation Stadium tour, and she would later say that it was like getting up on stage and waving to 5-year-olds, which of course did not go down well with the Swifties.
You know, I do care what they think, but I also, you know, am my own person. And
her next album, How I'm Feeling Now, came just a year later. It was actually made in lockdown, and again it received huge kind of critic acclaim but didn't get that commercial success. Skip forward to 2021 and Charli met George Daniels, who would become her fiance. They actually met whilst working on the song Spinning, which features the 1975, and Charli would become very close friends with the lead singer Matty and then go on to date and eventually get engaged to George Daniels, who is the drummer and producer for the band. Then in 2022 Charli finally got her first UK #1 album with Crash, which was a huge success. And in 2024 came her engagement to George, but more importantly her album Brat, which became the biggest of her career and the biggest album of the year. Now, pretty much immediately after dropping this album, fans began to speculate that the song Girl So Confusing was about Lorde, who is an artist that the two have kind of been compared against each other for years. Then, of course, came the remix of the Brat album featuring everyone from Lorde to Billie Eilish to Ariana Grande and, of course, the 1975. And in 2025, at the age of 32, she received her first ever Grammy Awards, 3 to be precise, and also picked up 5 Brit Awards. And that was the evolution of Charli XCX. Hit the subscribe button for our next feature.